Hey, I'm Chef Rich, a classically trained chef, author, and award-winning culinary educator. With over 2 decades of experience, I've discovered that food is more than just food. It's our greatest medicine. But here's the truth. There is no quick fixes, magic pills, superfoods, or diets that work. Welcome to a different kind of cooking show. Our mission? To inspire, educate, and prove that getting healthy doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. I'll share tips on saving you money at the grocery store, saving you time in the kitchen, and creating meals that everyone will eat. I'll expose the lies about food, reduce the stress about what's for dinner, and remove the struggle of getting healthy. If you give me a chance, I promise, we'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious. Now let's get cooking. Hey, I'm Chef Rich, and welcome to One Plate Kitchen, where we save you money at the grocery store, we save you time in the kitchen, and we make delicious meals that are easy, fun, and healthy. Now today, we're gonna be making a kind of crazy, fun dish. All right, it's a Fish En Papillote. All right, we're using tilapia today. All right, so I'll show you how to make this, and you'll see it might sound complicated like En Papillote, but once I show you how easy it is, you'll be making these all the time. And the flavor of these is incredible. I promise you, you're gonna love it. All right, now since we know what we're making, let's get to meet the stars of the episode, our ingredients. So we have some beautiful tilapia. Now, if you didn't like tilapia, if you wanted to use a different type of fish, you are more than welcome to. Every and any fish really works well with this technique that we're going to use today. Now, if you didn't want to use fish, if you wanted to do it with chicken, we can use the same technique with chicken. We would just have to treat the chicken a little bit differently and just cut it a little bit thinner. Now we have some beautiful freshly squeezed lime juice. We have some incredible tomatoes, beautiful heirloom tomatoes, all different colors. We have some incredible stuffed olives. Now, if you wanted to do a blue cheese stuffed olive or a garlic stuffed olive or a Kalamata olive, you could use any olive you want. Now, again, if you didn't want to use any olives at all, if you didn't like the flavor of them, just omit it. It's totally up to you. We have some beautiful chicken stock. Here we have some powdered garlic. Now you could use the fresh stuff if you wanted to, but we'd want to make it into a paste, only because that paste will cook a little bit easier instead of just chopping it up. But if you didn't want to do that, we can definitely use what we're going to use today, which is the powdered stuff. We have our best friend in the whole world besides Chef Rich. We have some amazing one plate herb salt. We have some fresh herbs. We're using cilantro today, but you can use dill, you can use parsley, you can use celery leaves, you can use any fresh herb you wanted to. That is totally up to you. Now we're using another dry herb over here, and that's tarragon. Tarragon has like a flavor of like black licorice. And I know that turns some people off, but I promise you, when it's married with fish, it gives it an incredible flavor. We have something over here that you might not have seen before. These are called shallots. So it's like the cousin to garlic and a cousin to scallions and onions. So it's a very, very delicate flavor, which works perfectly with this dish. And then we have our friend over here, Mr. Zucchini, which is going to be the bed of our entire dish today. Now, since we know all of the stars, let's get cooking. Now, the first thing we're going to do is work on this fish. All right. Now, if you've used tilapia before, you know that it has a thicker part and it has a thinner part. All right, what we want to do is kind of just separate these. I want to take off and just separate the thick and the thin part. We're all going to cook them together. They're all going to cook together. I just want to make sure I separate them. That way I can just clean it up a little bit more and then make it in a way where they cook kind of evenly. If I was to throw this in there without really being cautious with it, you see this has a really thin part. This would overcook before this is even done because this is much thicker. So we're just gonna kind of layer it a little bit differently. This little bloodline right here, it's not a bad thing to have in there. I'm just not a big fan of it. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna slice that part right out. And you can just take your knife and just drag it right along and you'll take that piece right out. All right, now I got beautiful fish. Perfect, ready to go. Oh, I see a little piece right here. I just want to clean this up too. All right, so that's ready to go. We're gonna do the same exact thing to this side over here too. So I see the line right there. I'm just gonna take it and slice right through the line. Now I have two parts. I'm gonna flip this part over, and only I flip it over just so you can see the bloodline because it makes it easier to clean up. Then what we're gonna do is just take our knife and just right at the edge, we'll just start to kind of slice down and take that piece right off. We'll get rid of that. We're just gonna clean this part up a little bit right here too. So that's perfect, that's ready to go. We're gonna do the same thing to this piece right here. We'll just take our knife and just easily just kind of shave that right off. All right, so now these are ready to go, perfect. These are also ready to go, perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is just season these up. I'm gonna grab some of my herb salt and just gently season these up. And I say gently, it's a thin piece of fish. Or yeah, we have a little bit thicker on this side. So on these parts right here where it's a little bit thicker, a little bit meatier, I can always season it a little bit more. All right, but for some of these thinner pieces, I just want to do a very, very light seasoning because what could happen is it'll get too salty and that's not what I want. It'll ruin the whole entire dish. All right, we're also going to get our garlic in here too and just season that up with a little bit of garlic. Now the garlic, we can be pretty liberal with it. All right, garlic, besides making your breath smell bad, it's not gonna hurt you. All right, so now we'll flip it over and we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. It drives me crazy when some people I talk to, only season one side of their food. I mean, for me, the golden rule is if you're gonna eat both sides, you wanna make sure you season both sides. So we season these up, they look good. Garlic, sprinkle it in. And these are looking perfect. All right, now what I want to do, again, is just let it sit for a minute. I'm gonna move this out of here. I'm gonna put these back home. Now all I'm gonna do is take my fish and just let them sit there for a minute. I just want that to kind of make a crust on there while I get everything else ready. First thing, wash the hands.
Hey, Chef Rich here, and I want to officially introduce you to my one plate herb salt. Now this is the perfect all-in-one seasoning that I carefully handcrafted to enhance any dish. Now our proprietary herb blend not only provides delicious flavor, but also offers antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties for the health-conscious eater. Now it's also packed with vitamins and minerals, and that green hue comes from the natural chlorophyll found in fresh herbs. To get some for yourself, visit our website.
Okay, perfect. Now before we start putting this together, we gotta do a little prep here. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is cut our zucchini. Now the reason we're cutting zucchini is because we want to make a bed for the fish. I don't want the fish to sit right on the bottom of the pan where the aluminum foil is at, because then you run the risk of drying out the fish or making a crust and burning the fish. I want to have a little layer in between, and you'll see what I'm talking about, between the pan and then the fish itself. So we got our zucchini. How you want to cut this is totally up to you. All right, first thing we'll do is just slice that off. Now, if I wanted to cut down straight, I could just make straight cuts down. All right, so I could just take this and just slice down. So we have little like round, like disc shapes that we can put out there. That's totally fine. You can do it that way. Another way we can do it, if you wanted to get a little bit more fancy, is we'll cut it on a bias. So what we'll do here is we just take it and we do the same thing. We make our cut, and then I just cut it on the bias. All right, I make these pieces just a little bit thicker, or they're just a little bit bigger because they're cut in the bias. So maybe I'll use a few less because I'll have more surface area. You can see the surface area between this is different than the surface area from here. All right, so these would look a little bit nicer, especially with the big fish. I think it's gonna work better. So now we're just gonna take this and slice. And what we're looking for, as far as thickness, is about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. If I make these zucchini too thick, what will happen is it won't cook in the oven. When I take it out, it'll still be raw and it won't have that nice flavor. I want these to be cooked completely, so I want to make them about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. So we just make our slice, go through nice and easy, take your time. Again, there's no rush in any of this. All right, so take your time, cut them nicely. And I think that should be enough. We should have enough right there. All right, so what we'll do here is I'm just gonna collect these. And we're just gonna put these aside for now. Just gonna make a little row of ingredients right next to me. Then I'm gonna get my shallots here next. Almost got away from me. So we're gonna cut the top, cut the bottom. And then we'll get these ready to go. Now with these, you don't want to cut them too thick either. Or you want to keep these kind of nice and thin. So about the same thickness, or maybe even just a little bit thinner that we did our zucchini. And you can see the color on this is so pretty. Oh, it's got like a pink color to it. It looks really nice. And it's gonna be a beautiful contrast with the green that we put in there from our zucchini. Making these dishes, it's all about visual appeal too. All right, people eat with their eyes first. So if it looks good, and you can see, I mean, the color contrast of this is gonna be so incredible. It's gonna taste really good too. Now from here, what we can do is we'll just slice these. And again, we're just gonna make a bed of vegetables for everything to sit on, for the fish to sit on. So I just go there, cut that up, and this I'll just break up. We'll do one more. We'll get this going. Split it down the middle. Peel the skin off, and then we'll slice these too. Now, if you didn't have shallots, if you just wanted to use regular onion, you can. If you had red onion, if you just wanted to use red onion, again, you can. That's gonna look beautiful too. And then here again, we just make our slice. Just take your time. Move that over. Same thing here. So this type of dish, it's a little bit more labor intensive, only because we have to do a lot of cutting first before we get into really putting this dish together. But the putting together part is super easy. All right, so we just do a little bit work up front, and you'll see putting it together is super fast. I'm gonna get my tomatoes. With my tomatoes, since they're so perfect, I just want to slice them just like that. And they have so many beautiful colors in here. You can see this dish. I mean, I'm sure you can visualize it already. It's gonna look so incredible. All right, it's gonna be so bright and vibrant. And again, that bright vibrancy translates into nutritional powerhouses. All right, so we're just gonna cut this. Now, if you didn't have beautiful cherry tomatoes like these, could you use a regular tomato? Of course you can. You can use any tomato you want. Now, if you didn't want to use tomatoes at all, you don't have to use them. That's fine. All right, so I'm gonna collect these back up, put them in here. And then we have, I think, one more thing to cut, so I'll put this back over here. I'm gonna get my olives. And our olives are gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna take my olives and just cut them in half. I'm a huge fan of olives. I love all kinds of olives. Black olives, these green olives, pitted, not pitted. I love them all. Now we have to be careful. Remember, these have been brined already, so they are going to be kind of salty. So we want to watch our salt intake when we season that fish up. We don't want to be too aggressive with the fish because we're going to add other ingredients in here that are also a little salty. So we'll just take this, cut this up. 1, 2, 3. And again, put these back in there. And we'll move on to the next. So you can see we're building a whole little dish of beautiful flavor. All right, now we have our fresh herb. Again, for this one, you're just gonna run your knife through. So we'll just take this and run this through. Now, if you wanted to mix your herbs, you definitely can. So I could take my fresh herbs and I'm gonna mix it with my dry herbs. Now for this one, normally we would say, no, you can't ever do that. You know, you don't wanna mix your dry and your fresh herbs because we use them differently. Fresh herbs would be more towards the end of the cooking process. Dry herbs would be in the beginning of the cooking process. But for this type of cooking technique, where we're introducing a lot of steam in there, I know that my dry herbs will reconstitute and give me tons of flavor. So I'm gonna add them right to my fresh herbs. And all I'm gonna do is kind of mix this in together, just start chopping these together. And I just keep on just running your knife through and just putting it together. How fine do you want it to be? That's totally up to you. I like it a little fine. I don't like big chunks, it just doesn't look right. So I like to cut it a little bit finer, you know, than some other people. But again, if you cut it big, that's not a problem at all either. All right, so we got that all cut up, that's perfect. Now I'm gonna move this out. All right, so now let's put this together. That's like a puzzle, what we're gonna do right now. We're using aluminum foil today. Now, classically, it would be done with parchment paper. Now, the reason I'm not gonna use parchment paper today is only because the fold that we have to do around it is a little tricky. And I'd rather you do it with aluminum foil first because then you kind of get the hang of it. And then once you're done with this, you'll see it's so much easier to do it with parchment paper because you have that fold down already. But to jump right to parchment paper the first time, I don't want to set you up that way. I want you to be successful with it and I want you to enjoy it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we'll take this and we'll fold it in half. The only reason we're folding this in half is I want to get kind of a crease of where it is. Now I have a perfectly rectangular piece and I know where that fold is. So where I'm going to start to build is just right in here. Then I'm going to fold this over and then tie it in. We're going to add a little bit of oil to this and I'm just going to massage this into the back. All right, so that's perfect right there. Now I'm going to make a bed of my zucchini. We'll go just like that. Maybe just one more right in there. So that goes there just like that. Then I'm gonna get some shallots and I'm just gonna break that in there. Again, I want you to have fun with this. So don't think the way I'm doing it is the same way that you have to do it. Don't think the ingredients that I'm putting in here has to be the same ingredients that you're gonna put in there. Remember, all our recipes are made for you to make them your own. I want you to take them and I want you to add your own favorite flavors in there. That's a tongue twister right there. All right, so we got that in there. It's looking perfect. I'm gonna get some of my olives now and drop these down. Again, if you didn't want to use olives, you don't have to use them. That's totally up to you. But you'll see what we're doing is making kind of like a bed. All right, if I was to take the fish and put the fish down first, I mean, there's a good chance that because it's touching the pan, it could burn or it could dry out. That's not what we want. We want to make sure we add a ton of flavor and some protection for that fish. Now, we're gonna add a little bit of fresh lemon juice to the bottom. And I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken stock too. Now you'll see some recipes will call for wine. You can add wine to this if you wanted to. Now I'm gonna take my first piece of fish and just lay it down right there perfectly. I'm gonna get my second one and kind of lay it there. All right, so that's perfect, just the way it is, just like that. Now I'm gonna get some tomatoes and just kind of toss these around somewhere, just to make it look nice. So when you open that up, you see all these beautiful colors in there. We'll add a couple red ones in there somewhere. And maybe one more yellow. I want a yellow one in here. So it's just like that. So there it is, perfect, ready to go. Now what I'm gonna do is fold this over, just like that. Now starting from the back side right here, you're just gonna fold it to where you can feel the ingredients. So I folded that edge right in. Now all I'm gonna do is go around and just start folding. I fold and I make a crease. I go around, I fold, and I make a crease. So that's all you're gonna do, just go around folding, making creases. What we wanna do here is kind of make an airtight little capsule for our fish and our liquid. So I'm just gonna go around, make a crease, go around, and I'm just gonna keep on going around just like that. So we go around, make a crease. When we get to the edge right here, we're gonna do the same thing. So we go around, make a crease, push it down, and we just keep on going around to this edge. Once we get to this edge right here, you'll just take it, one big fold right there. Once you get that fold right there, you're just gonna take this edge right here and just fold it in. So now we have one airtight cylinder that the fish is gonna start to cook and steam in. So now, I take this and I just gently transfer it over to my sheet pan. Now, if you didn't get it the first time, I'm gonna do one more just to show you how easy it is. So, first step, we fold. Real easy. We just fold, now we open it up. A little bit of oil in there. We just massage that in just to make sure we get an even covering on everything. Now we add vegetable. We're using zucchini. Put one there and just one right there. Then we add some shallots. And whatever your favorite vegetables are, and then I would definitely want you to add that. So we got some shallots in there, that's looking good. We're gonna get some olives sprinkled in there. And that's one of the things, one of the reasons why we didn't season our vegetables. Normally I would say, okay, yeah, we have zucchini in there, make sure we season it up. Because we have our olives in there, which are naturally salty already, we don't need to add any more seasoning to it, because as that steams, it'll kind of break down that olive and give me that olive juice in there, which will give me all the seasoning I need. So we got that mixed in there. That's looking perfect. Fish goes on. First piece goes on. Our beautiful second piece goes on, just like that. And then we load this up with some incredible tomatoes. And the reason we put the tomatoes in last, you could put these on the bottom if you wanted to put tomatoes, but I mean, it has so much color, I don't want to, not have them in there. Then I'm gonna add to this one some of my seasoning too. So I'm gonna put that on there. A little bit of lemon juice goes on. And the reason we're putting this, the lemon juice is for flavor, chicken stock is for building steam. So we want to make sure we have liquid in there that'll build steam, and that steam is what's going to cook the whole thing. Now again, we fold it over. We get our first, where we can feel the vegetables, get our first fold, and then we just go around and start making folds. And these go in the oven just the way they are, just like that. Timer just went off, so let's take these out of the oven. They've been in a 425-degree oven for about 13 to 15 minutes. Let's see how they look. Oh, they smell great. Now, I know there's not much to see right here, but one of the things you're looking at is to make sure that it's kind of like, almost got like a bulbousness to it. Or when we first started out, it was a little flat, and now as the steam builds up, it gets more and more filled with steam. So we'll take one out now and take a look at it. It smells incredible. So we'll just give it a little break. Oh my goodness, it is hot. And now we'll just rip these open. Oh, look at that. Oh, it smells incredible. One of the greatest things I love about this technique in general is it's one of the healthiest ways of cooking. There's really little to no fat in here at all. Steam does all the cooking, and we use very little salt. All right, so if I promise you that if the more you try this, you'll see it's going to get better and better and better, and the flavors are just incredible, especially when we add different vegetables to it. Because we could definitely add broccoli to this, we can add cauliflower, we can add any of your favorite vegetables. All right, so definitely try it, make it your own. Now, come on, it doesn't get any easier than this. All right, if we work together, getting healthy and feeling better doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. I promise. We'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious. And we'll do it one plate at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next time. I'm gonna eat. You want to learn more easy to follow tips and techniques that'll transform your cooking game? Join me for live cooking classes and keep learning with our new One Plate Cooking Club. Visit our website today and sign up for your favorite class.